Hi, my name is Mero, and I'm a student at Queens College who wanted to focus on different generational experiences when it comes to emerging bilingual students in NYC education. I'm interviewing both my mother and sister who are 20 years apart and have had different experiences within the educational system.
Hi, my name is Genny Mero. I'm a Spanish teacher, and I came to United States when I was 19, not knowing any English at all.
My name is Kristie Mero. I'm a second generation immigrant. I'm 31 years old and I am a math teacher in Brooklyn.
When you first arrived or started school, how much English did you know?
When I came to United States, didn't know any English, and it was a little difficult because it was getting used to a new environment, plus a new family because I came with my husband and I just knew his family and nobody else. I didn't have any friend at all.
I didn't know any English at all. I had two parents. My dad had moved here when he was 11, so he already knew the language. He had me when he was about 31. My mom, she had no English background because she recently moved. Right before I was born, she moved to the United States. So since she was a stay-at-home mom, I would only communicate with her in Spanish, and when my father would come home, we would only talk in Spanish because my mother didn't understand English.
Okay. What was your first day of school like without being fluent in English?
Well, I don't think it was that hard because I went first to school where a lot of Latino people went, so it was more like having friends, getting in a school environment, and little by little we were learning, and it was nice because we were not only learning English but also getting to know people, talk out of the same environment I was every single day.
And at what age did you start school?
I was 19 when I came, probably like 3 years, like 21, 22 years old when I started learning English.
I don't really remember my first day per se. I do remember walking to school and I remember being welcomed as a student, but in terms of the English barrier, I think we were all kids. We just wanted to play, so I don't think too much was involved with being uncomfortable.
How did not knowing English affect your ability to make friends or participate in class?
Well, not knowing any English, it was difficult because it was hard, especially when I moved to college, to Hunter College, because the teachers separate us in group where I had no Latino friends and we had to speak. We were like kind of forced to speak English, but it was good because we feel like there was no other choice. Or you learn Chinese or Korean or Spanish, so the only thing in common we have it was English.
I think that it's a little harder when you're older, and that's things that I see as a teacher, but when I was younger, learning the language, there I wasn't the only student who didn't know English. There were other students that were in our neighborhood that lived in our building that didn't know, so we were just friendly with each other. There was nothing about it where anyone was hostile towards us or anything.
How did teachers, classmates, or the school system treat you because you were still learning English?
I think that everybody was nice and understand the situation because we were just learning the language. The teachers were nice. They tried to give activities where we can communicate, where we can have listening comprehension, speaking, writing. So we have all four language skills, so we can use it in order to learn English.
I was lucky enough that our teachers were very kind. I never had a bad experience with any of the teachers I had growing up. Um, students as well. I think elementary was my best experience because, it's the longest we're together from kindergarten to fifth grade. So, eventually when I did start learning the language, we were all just very comfortable with each other.
Were there times where you felt isolated, left out, or misunderstood?
Not in school. I think that sometimes I feel isolated because I did not have friends. But on the other hand, I feel misunderstood when I had to go to the doctors and I did not speak any English, so they had to bring someone to translate it. I feel like I don't want to say my private things to other people, but that was I think that was the thing that helped me to learn more English and learn it. Or I had to get someone else to help me. So that was a good motivation. That was what I was looking for. It was a good motivation.
Um, I I feel like I've been very social since I was a kid. So I think I was the one that would go up to kids and talk to them, and to the point where when I was in first grade, because I only went to kindergarten and then first grade, no pre-K, I was introduced to one of the students, and the teacher kind of asked me if I could be his translator for her, I guess, because he was new, and I guess I had a grasp of the language enough so that I can communicate with both of them um, more fluently.
How long did it take you to feel comfortable speaking English in the school settings?
I think it was like probably 2 years because it was competitive where you have to, we were evaluating by the participation. We have assignment to read, and if we did not participate, it was like you did not do your work. So you have to try. I think that the teachers understand, even if we have some words that we couldn't say, they understood and they knew that we were doing the work. It was just we need more vocabulary to talk, and they were understandable. I think that was a great thing about the school I went to.
Okay. In all of these schools, how did they provide assistance, like programs or any resources?
Yeah, we had tutoring for all the assignments, and I was going especially for my English because I need to do my lessons, and I had to understand the teachers, and they have for every other subject, which it was great. I think because it was not just Latino people going to learn the English, it was from different other countries.
I think I don't know if I ever felt uncomfortable, but I guess first grade would be the first time I know I was comfortable, especially because I had to translate. So, because I was chosen from whether I was the only Hispanic student or I was just the only one that was able to, speak bilingually, like fluently, because I do remember there were other Hispanic students, but maybe they just didn't know the language as well as I did, and I was still able to communicate with my teachers.
Outside of school, how did language barriers affect your experience growing up in New York City? So this can be at stores, on the subways, with neighbors.
Uh, I think did not affect me that much because before where we used to live, there live a lot of Latino people. But one of the things that I like it was that I have a friend, I got Janice later, who teach me. She said, "Don't feel afraid," and she said, "Just said it, and I teach you." So she was like my kind of my first teacher here because she was my daughter's. Her daughter was my daughter's friend, so we had chance to talk to every afternoon. So I don't think it was that much because I have a great experience with her because she teach me how to speak it and without feel afraid of speaking it.
I think, they call Queens the melting pot of like diversity. So I've never felt any type of way when I went into a store. I didn't feel like people were judging me or offended that I was in the same space as them. There's a lot of diversity, culture in all these places. We also spent a lot of time with our family. on the weekends in Brooklyn, surrounded with all kinds of people, Hispanics, people, African Americans, Indian people. So there was nothing. I was very comfortable, and I think it was just the time that we were living in. Times have changed.
Looking back, what support would have made your experience easier or better?
I think that's something that could have helped me back there. It was if I would have more communication with people. One of the things that stopped me it was because I was very shy, so I didn't open up myself to open to other people. I think that could be something that can help people.
I think that more push-in services would have been great. I don't remember if I received those. I do remember being pulled out and going to what they used to call the resource room. So when we went into the resource room, it would be kind of like, you know, isolated, of course, because it's kind of targeted instruction. But we would go in there, we would have flashcards, do activities, and we were able to work with other students. They did take us in groups, they did take us individually, but I think, more being in the classroom, being able to tackle the content with the teacher there so they can really see what's happening in real time and they can actually use that data to instruct or like for more targeted work in the resource room or now in their regular push in or pull out services.